Hey, Greg, good morning.
Manish, how are you?
Good, good, good. So, yesterday we have completed all the IT setup for all the full staff. So,
Yep,
I think today, the training and everything has been started at around
yep. Yeah,
7:30.
that we had it planned to start 7:30 or so, 8 o'clock this
Yeah.
morning. So hopefully, I'm trying to keep it a little more condensed since
Mhm.
most of these individuals have good experience already. So just kind of more so taking them through at a very faster pace of our strategy, how our audit binder is set up, all of the above. So yeah, I think hopefully I'll be. I checked in with Andrew yesterday afternoon on the IT side. He said we were ready, so I said okay, good, and I'll be following up with Josh here, every day this week just to see how things are going. So
Yep.
yeah, so far good start.
Yep.
So
So,
Greg and I watched that video yesterday after
mhm,
we hung up at 9 o'clock or whatever time it was. I
mhm.
have two questions for you that are probably pretty easy.
Okay.
The first one, it noted that integrity requires them to have 12 hours of CPE a month.
Yep.
Is that encompassed in, I guess, so ultimately what I'm trying to get to is like, if we're going to have them work 40 hours from now until December 31st, do they get that 12 hours on their own time through
Yes.
integrity or,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Or I didn't
So,
know if we need to plan to reduce part of our time, that
no,
we expect
no,
them to be
no,
working.
no. They will be
Okay.
spending 12 hours additional for the training. I mean, that is a compulsion with integrity. So
Okay.
we already have
Now,
L&D team who is taking care of that part.
okay. Now, I know part of our plan too, simply because we're so specialized of a firm in HUD,
Mhm.
we have training through Thomson Reuters that they have three courses that we try to promote. It's just self-study courses, but we basically had set them up in that to take those three courses
Okay.
this week, since we're only training from say 7:30, 8 o'clock till 2 in the afternoon or whatever, 3 in the afternoon, whatever, just to give them some semblance of a life. So
Yep.
we thought that that downtime early morning for you guys, while we're still sleeping, these trainings they could be doing to kind of get better up to speed on HUD and just so I wanted to make sure that's okay from your perspective.
Yep. We are
And
okay.
then okay, my last question is on how I know you'll bill us, based on the hours they work, but from our perspective, we're training them on how to record their time into our time and billing system, just so we have an accurate, percent or accurate details on what it's taking to, how much time it takes for us to get an audit done, whether it's using one of the offshore individuals or even our own. And
Yep.
so, I just want to make sure you knew that we were going to have them charge time technically only from a perspective of so we can track it on our end of, cost. But yet I didn't know, do you
Yeah.
need that
Let
support or will they be double tracking their time through integrity too?
yeah. I'll let me explain you how it works. Basically, they would be working for 40 hours a week. So anyways, we would be billing you for 40 hours a week, but
Okay.
we are also tracking their productivity. Okay. So they have to, if you want, I mean, we'll ask them not to mention the name of the clients in our timesheet. Basically, they can, mention those things in your timesheet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that way. I mean we need it for our records because we are also incentivizing the staff on their productivity, right? So
Okay.
we distribute incentive on the quarterly basis to all our staff, apart from whatever incentive you would like to give to them. So
Okay.
I mean that's your call, right? But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
we want to retain the staff. So yeah, I mean whatever best we can do, we are doing our best.
Okay. Okay. Because yeah, I figured for right now until the end of the year, yeah, the four that's really a no-brainer, and that will be an easily, trackable from your side and ours.
Yep.
But my concern more so is when we get to January, February, and March, when we through the interview process, we had asked every individual if they have any issues working overtime, or over 40 hours a week. All said no. They'll do whatever we want them to, within reason, obviously, which is fine. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that it's really more that time frame of, I didn't know how Integrity would report that, or do you need us to report it to you and say, hey, look, here's what they charged, or will they be tracking it separately on your end?
Yeah, see, basically, if you want, normally what happens during the season is, how hectic the season is, right? So during season, everybody has to work on Saturdays and Sundays as well. So it always goes beyond 50 hours, or maybe, somewhere around 45 hours, 46 hours, 48 hours, depends upon, the workload, what the staff is having.
Yeah.
Right.
So, again, up front, we told them, our expectation in those 3 months is anywhere from 60 to 65.
Yeah.
How they get it, doesn't, if they want to work, like 10, 6, 7 hour day, that's one thing, but we don't work on Sundays, just FYI. We don't require people to work on Sundays. We do on Saturday for those 3 months, but not Sunday.
Yeah.
If they do want to work on Sunday, that's their own, prerogative and decision to make. And I would say it's the same for these guys. That, we're not going to require that, but if they want to, that's perfectly fine, and we'll take it. But and like I said, all we're accepting and willing to do those hours, in those 3 months, and then after that, we'll kind of back them back down to 40, based on the contract. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
no worries on increasing the hours. They can do it on Saturdays, right? Sundays, anyways. We also don't want them to work on Sundays. So either what they do is they try to cover up on the weekdays. Maybe they work 10 hours a day, including Saturday, so that we can balance the workload and everything. So that will be taken care of.
Okay. And then, so from your perspective as well, the term onshore anchor, obviously will be myself. Any questions, any concerns that, they have that get voiced up to you, obviously, please let me know. Both myself and the other Greg are the main two people, but, again, you will hear or see from us, and, we should be the two that, you communicate with. And then the way we're structured is we've taken our audit group or our audit department, and we've teamed it, and we have 7 different teams within our audit group, and each one of those teams have, based on the size of our clients, have so many clients within it. And so what we're going to do is break these four guys up, and 2 are going to go to one team, 2 are going to go to another team. And what that does is it essentially puts them working with the same people. They could work on 9 different clients, but they're still going to work with the same 2 or 3 people routinely on those clients, because they're all within the same silo of a team. And so hopefully, from that perspective, and, going through the points and recommendations and whatnot through that presentation yesterday, I think that will solidify that aspect of it, and how they will work, right now for the next 45, 50 days, that they're not going to be on those same teams, simply because we have some off year-end clients or fiscal year-end clients. And so we really want to try to get them engulfed in doing audits. And so we can have some sense of how they're performing, and if we need to retrain on certain areas or whatnot, we can do that by the end of the year. And then, so come January 1st, it's like the presentation said, and what does it take to onboard for us typically, and like, it's an audit. Yeah. It's anywhere from 4, 6, 8 weeks. Right. So we want to try to get them moving right after this week of training, dive right into actual audits and start cranking them out for us. And so, so if there are any bugaboos or anything from that perspective, we can have those worked out before busy season comes. And then, hopefully between them, us, this whole relationship, we're a well-oiled machine. So that's kind of our take on it and so where we want to be. And then, again, this just telling you this long term, my goal of this is hopefully by next busy season, every team we have, so all 7 teams, or if we have 10 teams, we'll have 10 teams, that every team has a few of these offshore individuals with it that are going to be helping each team. So, if not, like I said, if not maybe 2 to 4 per team. And so my goal is to hopefully see this work and obviously yours as well, but see it work. And then hopefully by next year, we're talking 30, 40 resources, just for our firm alone. So
that's great.
It's kind of that's how I'm envisioning long-term, hopefully. Cross my fingers, that this goes really well. So I know the firm that introduced us to it is, they're very pleased, they're well ahead of where we're at this point. And so, hopefully we have similar results. And I'm actually talking to another guy on Monday from a different firm who is having some staffing struggles. And so I'm going to introduce him to you guys as well. And, hopefully he, sees the benefit of this as well. And so we'll see from there. But
yeah, you can just drop me an email introducing those guys. I'll take it forward from my end.
Email you the other firm contact guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe you can just drop an introductory email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Them, keeping me in CC, and I can take things forward from my end.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So meeting with his name is David on Monday for coffee in the morning. So it'll be next week, but I don't want you sitting around waiting for this week. So Monday next week, I'm having the breakfast with him. So hopefully he'll reach out to you guys. So
no problem.
Okay, what else from our perspective do we need to talk about?
I just want to understand the structure of your firm. I mean, how does it looks like, and when did you start it? I mean, was it 10 years ago? I mean,
so we've been around. Next 2022 will be our 35th year.
Oh wow!
So we're well experienced. We started back in 1986. 98% of our business is real estate, and of that 98%, majority of it is in HUD audits, rural development audits, low income housing tax credit audits. We do the development work, so cost certifications, everything that leads up to the development of an affordable housing complex. And then we have the other 2% of our business is really still real estate driven, but we're doing corporate audits for our, developers, management companies, the corporate level entities that some of our, lenders and whatnot want audits of. So we're doing all the lower tier investment work for them at these apartment complexes, and then that's all feeding up. And so we're doing those upper ones as well. So that's majority of our business. Like I said, been around we're in our 34th year, almost 35th. We have 13 partners. Okay. So there's 13 equity partners, and then we have another 15 principals, I believe. And so income partners, non-equity owners. So, in total, we have almost 30 people that are signing audit reports, and that's just on the audit side. On the tax side, we have the 13 includes tax partners. We have 3 tax partners. So there's 10 audit, 3 tax. And then there's another 3 principals in our tax group. So we're a firm of come busy season, once we get all our interns in-house and our new hires, we'll be pushing about 250, 260 employees. And so when we do that out of 2 offices, we have our Indiana office here in Carmel, Indiana, and then we have an Austin, Texas office. And so, and that office is about 20 people. So we just opened it 3-4 years ago. And so, but like I said, majority of the work we do comes out of our Indiana office.
That's great. So any challenges you have faced in this 32 years? I mean, I'm just talking from the perspective of pandemic. I mean, post-pandemic, it was a different story.
Yeah, I'd say our one of our biggest challenges, a couple of our bigger challenges is we're getting into this. Number one is, that's why you're at the table, is staffing. It hasn't been an issue historically for us, but with the market being so well, there's a lot more fighting for resources coming out of the collegiate, level. And so we're seeing that on campus. I mean, but we would have 100 applicants every year that we would look for 40 to 50, spots. And now we're getting 60 applicants, but still have that 40, to 50 need. And so, then we're seeing the numbers, the projected numbers in 2023, 2024, we're seeing the dip. A lot of students aren't doing accounting anymore. They're going into finance, or they're going into other business, degrees, but not accounting. And so that's kind of partly why we're looking at this and trying, kind of putting an oar in the water to see how this goes.
Yeah, I agree with you, because the young generation is more getting attracted by IT staff. So that's what we have observed. So yeah, I mean, people don't want to get into the accounting stuff. They just want to try out with IT, because it's more lucrative than the accounting industry. So yeah,
right, for sure.
And
Hey, Greg.
Mukund,
How are you?
Yeah. He's my director of client service.
Okay.
So just wanted to come and say hello, and just nice to meet you first.
You too.
So I was just smiling when you were saying that you are facing challenges having resources within to fulfill the requirement. But yes, we are.
Mukund, we are losing your
Now
voice.
it's a challenge for us too, and that's the reason. So now we are having almost Manish 150 plus requirements, right, to fill up the season.
Yeah.
So we have 150 plus openings for audit staff, for tech staff, for accounting staff, and that's why we have to move to other cities to get the talent.
Right.
And somehow we are we are great to manage that.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely, that can be the challenge, and it's
and one of our biggest advantages over other firms in our industry is the fact that we are essentially one office in the Midwest, within the US. And so, it's not like we're in New York or LA, Miami, where, we're, our starting salary for a staff is $58,000 a year. But you go to New York, LA, or Miami, it's $90,000.
90, yeah, 85.
Yeah.
90,000.
And so it's one of those that, one of my clients in New York City is facing this issue right now. They use us, and they use another local firm in New York to do majority of their work. The local firm in New York wants $2,000 more in audit. And it's like, well, wait a minute, that's $250,000. And they're pushing back saying no, and then I found out yesterday, they said, well, it's too late in the year to make a change and give you guys all their work, but we're going to next year. And that's exactly why. I don't have the overhead. I don't have the cost. I don't have all those other things that offices in New York, or firms that have offices in all these different cities have. Now, is that a detriment to us at the same time? Yes. Why?
Yes,
because I can't get, our resource pool is only so big to hire in Indiana. And so, again, that's why I'm hoping that this works out. And that's why this was so appealing to us.
I guess this is the only reason that, we have seen spike on, offshoring, because we have seen very less people are aware of, offshoring and how to, utilize the talent globally. I mean, there are a couple of, we have resources who are having experience more than 5-6 years in audit.
Yeah.
When we were 6 years back, there was not that much awareness of, this. Audit can be offshore too, but now it's getting, now people are getting know that, okay, now this can be done. Okay, this can be done. So obviously it's going to be,
I come from Big Four, Big Five. I started with Arthur Anderson. I went to Ernst & Young for 7 years.
Wow.
I was at PricewaterhouseCoopers for another couple of years before I came here. And, I was on the audit side, and I did merger acquisition work my last few years at E&Y and all of my time at PwC. And, I know for a fact there wasn't a tax return we did that Ernst & Young did that wasn't sent to India. Every single tax return was sent to India to prep and to do. And so, and that was 15, 20 years ago, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
The big firms were able to do this 20 years ago and probably even beyond that, just because of, the resources and being a global firm. They were able to, basically set this up already. Like the other Greg that, Manish, I know you've been on calls like this with. He was the office managing partner at PwC here locally in the Indianapolis office, and has been a huge asset for us to pick up. They offered him early retirement, and so he took it, but then his non-compete, he could only work for so many places and do so many things, and so he ended up coming to us. But yet, it's he says the same thing. He's like, there's not a single tax return that PwC, this local office, did that didn't go to India. And so it's just one of those, like, those firms were just set up that way because of having a global presence, and it just makes the process easy for them to implement. And like I said, I think so far this has been flawless on my end to get set up, and now it's just execution, right? And so hopefully, again, as I told Manish, hopefully that we see that come, and my goal is to hopefully have about 30 or 40 of you guys next year. So
wow, that's a big number, and definitely we're ready for it. But it's like when we are onboarding from flight, it's very important that how flight goes off. And because that's onboarding is really important. Once we have good onboarding and frequent calls on areas of improvements and what can be done better, and that's very important. So initially, Manish and I usually, when we, have a tea together, we talk about this, that, when we have onboarding proper in place, let's say for first, couple of months, we do regular calls with you guys that, how things been moving. Do you need any improvements or any areas of training? And that's how we can grow and, create a good team where, you guys can rely on them.
Gary, just want to give you some disclosures, which normally no other firms gives you. But the disclosure is the staff which you have selected out of 4, maybe one might not be up to your expectation, and that doesn't mean that this model is not going to work. The only challenges, it happens even in US. You might have hired 5 people, but only 3 people worked out for you, and 2 doesn't work out, right? So this may happen with the even with the offshore as well. Maybe out of 4, 3 might be really good, and 1 might be lagging behind with his knowledge or his skill, or maybe his attitude is not good and it's not working out. It could be any reason why the things are not working with that particular person. I don't want to comment anything on any of the first people you have selected, but this has been the observation from our side that out of 3 or 4 people which you have selected, 1 might not be working out, and we are always there to help you. We can replace the staff, we can redo the interviews. That is disclosure number 1. Disclosure number 2, what I want to give is basically the experienced staff. If we are looking out for 7+ years of experienced staff, it's scarce over here in India as well, right? So and these
and that's why our hope would be to, would we like the experience? Sure. But obviously that, like us, it's hard to find, and it comes with a cost. And even your experience cost is, minuscule compared to what it would be for us. But yet at the same time, if you guys are able to keep these 4, let's just say the 4 that we have now, and we can have them for 4 or 5 years, that's a huge benefit for them, for us, and to have that autonomy and everything else that goes with it of having them work with us for 5-6 years, who knows how long.
And actually that creates organic growth for that employees too, because they're getting experience from firm, and they're now can be integral part of the family that you guys are having.
Because as the other Greg and I were talking yesterday with our staffing principal, I'm like, in a year or 2, maybe these 4 are yeah, now we're paying $20 an hour or whatever that next rate is, but they're up here and I got 5 more people underneath them each.
Absolutely.
That, now it's like, okay, hey, you're in charge of your own 5 people.
This
You're
person.
in charge of your 5 people, and almost have, like we have our Austin office, we have our India office.
Yep.
It's kind of.
So Greg, now my understanding is that because you have seen a lot of firms, you come from this background of big fours, I guess you have that understanding that, what is really important, because, and this is what, me and Manish sometimes spend, time with, people like you, clients, that,
Mhm.
we need to make sure that this works, because you
Right.
are, you already have those understanding that, this can be the structure going forward, that, you pick these people up and we can hire another 4 people down there and say, okay, now these are your responsibilities, and,
Right.
because they're working here. So it's like another extension of your office here.
Yep.
With,
exactly.
team of 10, 15 people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I agree
And
with you.
that's ultimately, if this is a win for all of us, that's what my goal would be, and especially long term. And so, I think we'll get there. And Manish, to your, points, completely understand that. I've been in this. Most of the partners here have 15 plus years of experience in public accounting. We know it's not for everybody, and we know, whether it be personality, hours, whatever, stuff happens, and it's not meant for everybody. And sometimes it's just personality conflict, and we'll move people around before we're like, yeah, this ain't working. Like, we'll try everything we can. And as I told you, that's why, our goal was to get them through training this week for us, get them started on audits right away next week. And so by time busy season comes, though, if we have to send someone back through training with our, when we bring in our new hires in December, we'll do it. Yep. And maybe it's not the full training, but it's like, okay, well, we're going to put you in on this day and this day, to give them a little refresher. Okay, fine. And like I said, we'll give them every opportunity from, learning us and learning our business to succeed. So, the last thing we want to do is come to you and say, hey, so-and-so is not working out.
Just one recommendation. If we start the training, what I would suggest is if we can record this training and, keep it in your repository. Going forward, whenever we have a new hiring coming up, we can just give those videos to them. They can review, because every time it's not possible for you guys to keep on repeating those trainings. Instead of that, if we can create a video repository and keep it on the Google Drive or whatever you're using, probably that will help us a lot, training the other guys as well.
Okay. Yeah, probably too late this time, because I don't think we just set up to do that, to record them, but definitely for the next top round or anything else we do, we'll record them. And so it can be used more as an educational tool too, as well as kind of like, let me go back and listen to that part again.
That is one aspect. The second aspect is, you can even create the videos on the mistakes which they have done, right? Say, for example, if staff A has done some mistakes, what I would recommend is create a video showing him what mistake he has done and what is the solution for that particular mistake. So in a way, we are also trying to, create the FAQs kind of, repository for all the staff. So it's not just one staff. These mistakes might be repeated by the other staff as well, right? So before that is being done and we are too late on those mistakes, probably if we have that particular video, he can just go and review it. Okay, this was the mistake and this is the solution. So let me take care of this.
Greg, so actually this idea came up with one of our clients. What they are doing is they are just, documenting all the errors along with the results, or,
and that's what we typically do. Like, either somebody will have, a sheet of paper or something, and we'll scan notes to them. They'll handwrite them. Sometimes people will type them out and print them. Our software allows you to put notes right into the audit binder itself too. So either way, those first audits that they go through, they'll be combed through very thoroughly. And we'll give them every feedback comment that we have. You didn't, fix this, you didn't tick mark that, documentation here can be better, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we would recommend. So that, again, dealing with the 30 plus people we hire, 30, 40 every year, our people are used to that. And, they know that we have to educate and train these people as they're going along. And, that's where the benefit is. And I feel like we do a really good job of that compared to larger firms where the senior, the manager will just fix it, never tell you about it. So you don't really learn from it. You don't know you made a mistake.
Yes.
And so
and sometimes, Greg, that's creating a burden on those senior managers.
For sure.
There are a lot of things they need to do by their own, but if that can be delegated, there will be a lot of improvement.
I mean, we even try to promote like, hey, sometimes it is just easier to fix it, but still write the note down and say, hey, look, I changed this in your work paper, and here's why, here's why it makes sense to do what I did. And so there are some times where we'll change it, but yet, it's like I said, we preach to our people to make sure that that's okay in some situations, but just make sure you tell them about it so they do learn from it. So I think we'll be good there. I hate to rush. I double scheduled it for a 9:30 meeting as well. And so I'm not sure what else we need to go through or cover.
Just last point from my side. If we can schedule, a weekly call, maybe with you or with the other Greg, just to, monitor the progress for next 6 to 8 weeks, maybe whatever days works for you. I mean, you can just drop me an email or just let me know.
I guess, Greg, what we can do is like, if you have any availability, like, every week we can have pre-scheduled call, let's say every Friday or every Thursday or something.
Yep. Let me get with Greg, and then I will let you guys know what day of the week that makes most sense for us. And then, we can just do it, whatever, 8:30, 9 o'clock, our time every Thursday, Friday morning, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, Greg, this can be a quick call. Let's say maybe some week we might not have anything, but we just can say, hey, hello, and, just see what we have got. And, it will be very helpful for us.
And I'd say, on average, we'll probably hold our questions till those calls if we do have any, unless it's just earth shattering. Obviously, I'll reach out to you guys.
That will help us to identify the weak links, right?
Yep.
So if something is missing with the staff, probably we can ask my L&D team to get the things trained or to that particular staff, right? We do have a partnership with MyCPE, which is a learning platform for us. So I mean, anything we need to do from
that's
our
the other
side,
thing. Is there a way for us to see like what is offered in MyCPE? It seemed like there was after watching that video yesterday, because obviously at the end of the month we have Thanksgiving holiday coming up, and I don't think you guys really celebrate that at all. And so it's one of those, we'll be shut down for I think just 2 days, like that Thursday, Friday. And my thought was at that point, if we can identify maybe some MyCPE courses that, we'll obviously pay, as part of our 40 hours, but that's what we'd encompass within those 2 days is, hey, sit down and take these 2 trainings or, these 4 trainings.
So Greg, let's do one thing. I guess, what you're talking is really makes sense. So obviously what we'll do is we'll go through our content bank, that what content we have for these people for audit.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, what you think that, maybe this can be helpful for these people for coming season? Like if you have some sort of material, just let us know. We'll, have those people go through that. If you have any specific points or topics you want them to go through, just let us know.
Okay.
And we can take care of it.
I'll send you the link for MyCPE. Everything is listed over there. So I'll definitely send you once we are done with this call.
Okay, sounds good. Yep.
Anything else from your side?
So I guess if I have any issues, questions, just put both of you on an email, or just I assume, right?
I'm there. Mukund is there on email. We are always there on Skype. We are always there on iMessage, FaceTime. So I'm not having your cell number and the other Greg cell number. So if you can just share it, I mean, we can get on iPhone, iMessage and FaceTime. So yeah, I think that would help us a lot.
Okay. Yeah, because I know like we use the Google Suite, and so like our internal meetings or whatnot are all through like Google.
I guess we can connect to Google Meets.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
right.
And so I know that's what we're training your guy, the 4 guys that started for us today on, and or that's part of that training. So that's how they'll communicate with their audit people, et cetera. So, you know, yeah, I think that's an easy software and whatnot to use. So, okay. So I owe you a day that works for us to do meetings in the morning, every week.
Yep.
And then, other than that, yeah, I'll, do we want to meet this week yet? Or maybe beginning of next week?
Yeah, beginning of next week or maybe mid of next week.
We
would
can
be
next.
great.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can start from next week. Yep.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna meet with Josh. He's an auditor for us, but he's also taking on a new role of being like our training manager. And so I'll meet with him daily as well. And if I have anything that I feel is earth shattering that I need to alert you guys of, obviously I'll do that. But otherwise, I'll just wait till next week.
No problem,
Okay.
sir.
All right, sounds good.
good.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate your
Thanks.
time.
All right. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Greg. Thanks for
Okay,
taking
bye.
time. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.